Let's do it. Let's do this, baby. We got big Bats and Hardwood, NBA, MLB DFS. I had no idea that Title was not even old enough to drink yet. This is amazing. He's wearing the number 34 jersey. What'd you say?
I'm old enough. 22 is old enough to drink.
Oh, you're 22. I didn't know that. I thought you said you were like 12. And then on the other side, I'm Holden, by the way. What's up, everybody? And hit the like button because if we get 125, we'll get some free swag. I got my Run Pure Sports free swag. It was awesome. So I'm happy about that. And then I got Hoop, on the other hand, who won $100,000 yesterday. It's like I do shows with all these guys that win $100,000. And I'm at this point, I'm getting pretty sick of it. I have their addresses. So watch out. I do have a shank still. And congratulations, Hoop. I'm winning 100K in PGA. But not only that, like you buried the lead when we're telling you about it. Who'd you party with last night?
Yeah, so it was Friday night, but I'm still feeling the repercussions because I'm old now and you can't, I mean, you're in my range. Like you can't bounce back like you used to, right? I mean, it's hard.
No,
I mean, hangovers, like I can remember, when I was Title's age, little boy like Title, it's like you get blacked out. You sleep in, you get some lunch, and you're right back at it. Like that doesn't happen when you're like upper 30s, close to 40. It just doesn't bounce like that. So, was in Vegas last weekend. It's a quick story. I think you guys will all appreciate it. So in Vegas with my brother-in-law and my wife, we're staying at the Cosmo and partied hard. We got there Thursday, partied hard, and it's 2-3 o'clock. Your boy's still in bed, struggling to get out. The wife, she's there too. She can't really move, so. Brother-in-law is knocking on the door, and he's like, "Come on, let's go. We gotta get going again. We gotta start partying." I'm like, get the F out of here. Like, leave me alone. Like, I'm still too messed up from the night before. It's not gonna happen. He's like, "No, seriously, you got to meet my friend. He's out here. He wants to party with us." I'm like, Todd, man, just chill for a few. I'm still relaxing, bouncing back. It's hurting. And no, he's like, "Seriously, get out." So I came out, and it was Johnny Manziel. So it was pretty cool. So he's friends with Johnny, and we partied with him on Friday. Pretty epic. It just makes me not feel bad for a guy like him, but it's like his people that recognize him are typically your middle-aged men. So he has about 30 middle-aged guys coming up asking for pictures. He's not going to get recognized by the ladies. So a lot of guys coming up asking for pictures. And I think he was kind of getting annoyed, but I'm sure
was he just smashed, like completely wasted?
We were hitting it pretty hard, and he's let's see, you can tell he's a seasoned partier because he was able to behave.
All right, guys. Well, here's the deal. We got a 2-game NBA slate. We got a 7-game baseball slate, and let's do it. Let's just get into the NBA slate, okay? Again, the Run Pure Sports NBA playbook is up. We got our core plays are getting up there too, and we start with Miami and Title's Milwaukee Bucks, who, you weren't even around. You weren't around for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, so that's really disappointing. But neither was I, dude. I mean, I was barely. When he was with the Bucks, I wasn't alive. So we got Miami visiting Milwaukee. This is going to be an interesting one. So Miami comes into this totally healthy. Eric Bledsoe is going to be questionable here. So my question is, and I guess we start with you here, Title. When we're looking at the Miami Heat, and we'll start with them, is there any reason not to just target their best three-point shooters and just hope that it works out?
So like Duncan Robinson and that, I'm not really targeting them as much on the Heat. DraftKings, the Heat are pretty good value on DraftKings. Jimmy Butler, Bam, and Dragic stick out as the best value plays. Shooting guard on FanDuel is loaded. So Jimmy Butler, Middleton, Shai, Dort, just a loaded position, but I'm not really targeting the three-point shooters as much on Miami today because of pricing and just how construction's fitting. But just overall, I think this is going to be a very good series. Huge Bucks fans, obviously, but the Heat are very good. Play defense. Bam Adebayo is one of the best. He can match up with Giannis, one of the best in the East. Athletic, can move his feet. Very athletic guy. So Giannis was actually held to like 13 points earlier in the year against this team too. I'm not putting too much stock into this. It's playoffs. He's going to get his run, a lot of run. Giannis is my favorite player on the slate. Probably no surprise, but with Westbrook back, makes Harden a little worse play. It's just at small forward too. It just really makes sense that Giannis is a person I'm trying to build around. But for the three-point shooters, back to your question, I'm not going to be targeting them as much, priced up a little bit more than I want. I want to target the Jimmy Butler, Dragic, and Bam, who are taking most of the usage on Miami.
Before we get to that Milwaukee side with you, Title, Hoop, if there is one guy you're paying up for today in cash, is it Giannis? And then if you're playing GPPs, like what direction could you pivot if you're not going Giannis?
Well, I mean, I think with every lineup you build, I mean, I think you play either one of Giannis or Harden. Like you definitely don't want to fade both those guys. The upside's way too high. I don't think it's on FanDuel. I guess it's a little bit more clear cut because the position, like shooting guard's pretty strong. Small forward's not. I think you probably play you play Giannis there, and you don't play Harden. A lot of good shooting guard value plays on FanDuel. On DK, I don't think it's as cut and dry. I mean, they're priced 100 apart. It is playoffs, so you assume both these guys get their minutes. I don't know. I'm not as sold on going Giannis over Harden, I guess. I think they're both phenomenal plays. I haven't made that decision yet. But I definitely think you play one of them in your lineups today, regardless.
Okay, very good. So title, let's just go, and I'll get the whole breakdown here from Hoop in a second, but go to that Milwaukee side then, because you broke down the Heat side, and maybe you're not going to be as big on the three-point shooters. Then how do you attack the Bucks?
Yeah, so it obviously starts with Giannis. I've already made my decision. I'm just Giannis, all in Giannis. Just love his floor, his rebounds, everything. So I'm going to start there. He's my number one priority for sure, and I'm fine with if you just play him. After him, Middleton sticks out. We got to keep an eye on Bledsoe. I think he's going to play, but he's a little banged up, so just keep an eye on that. He does have a favorable price tag on FanDuel, especially with the point guard. There's 3 point guards that really Chris Paul, Dragic, and Bledsoe. 2 of the 3 seem pretty obvious, so he's in play over there. Haven't looked at him as much on DraftKings. Pretty much Middleton, and then Brook Lopez. Center is very weak on this slate. If you want to play him, you're pretty much flipping a coin, in my opinion. I'm filling out center, one of the last spots I fill out. So if he fits, he fits. He can shoot threes, get some blocks. But if they're going to play Bam at the 5 and Giannis is going to match up with them, I can see this series going very, very small ball, and he won't see a lot of run there. So I'm not as interested in the Bucks side outside of Giannis, and then Middleton's the second one.
All right, so you give me a whole game breakdown here, Hoop, and a little bit more on the Heat side, but really dig into this Bucks side too, because I thought it was interesting what Title just said, about just Giannis and maybe some of the other guys not being as attractive.
Yeah, I mean, the salaries are pretty different, like site to site. I think, the way you build teams is going to be pretty different as well. On the Miami side, if you go to DK, like the prices on some of these Miami guys, I think are good values. Like Jimmy Butler, 8.1K. I really like him. The thing we have to remember, which we kind of talked about in the previous series, is the Bucks are playing at a fast pace. And, when you can target players that are playing in a pace up situation, it's usually something you want to do. So the Heat are a team that I have a lot of interest in. I think this ends up being a good series. I think it can go deep. So guys like Butler and Bam, I like the price tags, 8-1, 7-7. Dragic is in play. I mean, DK did a pretty good job of pricing up guys like Hero and Duncan Robinson, 5-5, 4-9. Not saying they're not in play, but if I'm going to go value, I think I'd rather just go down to Crowder at 4.5K. Should have a big role in this series guarding Giannis. I think he ends up playing probably around 30 minutes per game, upper 20s to 30. And he's a guy, can kind of contribute across the board. Then cheap value here on DK. I think Iguodala at 3.5K, probably played mid 20s. And the thing is, you can be a little looser with the value plays in these two game sets here, because you really need to reach for those, high upside, high dollar guys like we have Giannis and Harden tonight. So I don't mind taking a risk on a guy like Iggy at 3.5K. Then on the Bucks side, obviously we like Giannis, like we talked about. Middleton on FanDuel, 6.8K. That's just too cheap. Is it 6.8 or 6.6? One of those. 6.8. 6.8. Still too cheap though. Like I really like him at that price tag.
6.8 or 6.
And let's see. You talked about Brook Lopez. Don't mind him. 5.3K. He can knock down threes. I mean, the big thing here is Bledsoe and whether or not he plays. If he plays, he's in play for DFS just because we don't have a ton of other options. If he's out, it's going to introduce guys like potentially George Hill or DiVincenzo would become a good value play. I'm guessing he does play. Game one of a series here, you have to imagine he's going to do everything to get out there. So, things could shift if he is indeed ruled out. But, that's kind of the basis here of this game.
Okay, guys, that'll do it for that game. Hey, Title, I want to go back to the last time the Rockets played here. We had Russell Westbrook come back. I want to get your thoughts on Westbrook in his comeback, how that affected Harden, and how specifically, not the whole team, but those two guys going forward coming into this game.
Yeah, so just a quick point on the last game that Hoop brought up that I wanted to. Iguodala is a value play, 3.5K on DraftKings. You might need it. It works. He's going to play a lot of fourth quarter minutes as he always does, just to play defense. His steal upside's always there, so I'm glad he brought that up. I wanted to touch on that. But yeah, going to this game, I expect Westbrook's minutes to obviously go upwards. It took away Harden's usage a little bit, as we saw. He did shoot the ball very well and had a good game, but he only shot the ball. It was a blowout, so it's too much stake. I mean, you can't put too much stake in. It was 11 for 15, very efficient. I like Westbrook in GPPs today. I don't think he's going to be too popular. And I mean, point per minute, when Westbrook's on, he's always aggressive. If he's on, he can fill up the stat sheet real quick. So don't do it in cash. It's a GPP 2-game slate. But yeah, that's part of the with Westbrook back. It does bump Harden down a little bit and comparing him to Giannis, and that's the decision you have to make. I haven't found any builds where I can play both of them together. There's just not enough value on the slate. So with Westbrook back, that is pretty much the difference maker for me. And the Thunder, I mean, they've been playing Harden pretty well. Dort can play defense, Shy. They play pretty good team defense against them. Harden's obviously always a good play. He's in consideration for cash as well. I'm probably more biased and already made my decision than most. So because it is Giannis for me, especially on FanDuel because of the positions. But Harden, yeah, I mean, Harden's always can blow up. I just think Westbrook coming back, taking some of the usage away, and Oklahoma City defense compared to what Giannis in his upside and floor, that has me leaning more Giannis.
So here's my question for you then, as we move to you, Hoop, and we're just talking about Westbrook and Harden. I got the same question for you. You just go back. What did you see out of Westbrook? There was obviously a blowout there, so we didn't see that much out of it. But how much could we see him tonight? How high are you on him? And what do you think that does with Harden?
Yeah, see, and that is a good point that Title does bring up there. The minutes are going to go out. And honestly, I wasn't believing the minutes cap anyway on Westbrook. And if that was a close game coming down the end and he was hovering around the 28-minute cap, to me, like, he's going to play. He's going to finish out that game. So I wasn't necessarily buying that minutes cap as it was. And now, obviously, we're another game in. If it's a close game, to me, he's going to play mid-30s, which is obviously, a downgrade to Harden. So, yeah, I mean, maybe I just got sold live on air here to kind of go Giannis over Harden. But, yeah, it's definitely a downgrade. I do think this game, it's very rare in the playoffs when you see teams like this, blowouts, back-to-back games. I think this is a much more competitive game. I think the Thunder get things going. The one guy that's just been so disappointing in this series is Gallinari. I mean, he's just been terrible, especially these last two games. He's really cheap now on FanDuel. He's like 5.5K. I have to imagine they get him going a little bit here. So I do kind of like him on the Thunder side. Steven Adams, I think, in play. Obviously, if you can get up to Chris Paul, more of a FanDuel play because you have to play the 2 point guards. I think he's a good play over there. And then on the Thunder, Robert Covington, is a guy that was not playing well with Westbrook out. I mean, he was really bad, losing minutes to Jeff Green. Westbrook comes back, and all of a sudden he has a big monster game in that blowout. So, I mean, maybe there's something there. I mean, there's obviously no numbers to really back that up or anything, but it appears that he plays better when Westbrook's out there for some reason. So I'm going to kind of ride that and give him a little boost here today. So he's probably my favorite mid-tierish play on the Rockets. And PJ Tucker's another guy. I mean, they're comfortable with him out there on the court. He's going to play a lot of minutes. You just need him to kind of scrap to value. And on a 2-game slate, I want my guys to be out there and playing the minutes. And you're going to get that with PJ Tucker.
I love game theory. It's my favorite thing when it comes to this, to be honest with you. Like, looking at all the salaries of the players is fun, but trying to figure out, your strategery in your game theory then. And so it's really, to me, it comes to GPPs versus cash tonight on a 2-game slate. You guys are both, you're big cash guys, but are either one of you going to be playing a little bit more GPP just because we're on a 2-game slate? Like, how do you attack this slate?
Yeah.
Title, go for it. Go for it, Title.
Yeah. So I still put out a lot of head-to-heads on 2-game slates and stuff like that. I limit my 50-50 action, double up action a little bit. I like, because if people always are getting cute, making mistakes and head-to-head. So in that aspect, I like it, but it definitely is a better tournament slate. Try and have other people get cute, but I still think ownership regardless in cash and GPPs on the chalky guys, on the cash plays, so to speak, are going to be very chalky and lineups are going to be duplicated a lot. So if you are playing GPPs, you got to leave some money on the table. You got to get different in 1 or 2 spots to make your lineup unique, because no one wants to chop first place with 600 people and double your money. So it all depends. If you're already running a chalky lineup, then play cash, play head to head. It's not even worth trying to tie with a bunch of people. If you have a lineup you like where you're getting cute a little bit, then do more tournaments. I haven't found myself. I'm still playing more cash today. And some tourneys too. I just haven't found a great GPP build I love. So that's how I'm approaching the slate.
I want to get your thoughts on the whole breakdown. But what about you, Hoop? How are you handling the slate today? And why did you not bring up Dennis Schroeder? I mean, JSU's just all over Dennis Schroeder every time, and he steps up. It works.
Yeah. No, I definitely have interest in him, especially once again on FanDuel. Really cheap on there. I think he's $6K. And they need his scoring. Like, he has to score. So I do like that call. In terms of strategy, I'm just playing one lineup, kind of coming up with the best lineup I can and enter it and everything. If you're playing in tournaments, I do agree with the strategy of leaving some money on the table to be unique. Don't be afraid to do that in these situations. Kind of have to adjust your expectations a little bit in terms of, the fantasy points you're hoping to get out of your guys here in the playoffs.
All right, TT, so give me the rundown on this game too. You gave a good one on the first one. I want a better one now. This is the challenge, dude. Step it up. Now, who are we playing tonight? What do we like from here? And who are you first of all, before we do anything, like, who are you fading from this game? Is there anybody out there that people are talking about? You're saying that's just a stupid play.
Oh, well, I'm fading Holden because I am playing one lineup and I am playing Giannis, but he's not a stupid play.
It's not a stupid play, but you're fading him. That's good.
Yeah, it's more like you say, game theory. I mean, Giannis is my stand. I don't think it's as close as some people think, but so that is my fade. Obviously, he's not a bad play, but that's my fade. He's going to have ownership, so hopefully it works out. Other guys in this game, Robert Covington, as Hoop touched on, I'm going to be pretty much – Hoop broke it down pretty well. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really curious if Westbrook does help Covington splits, or if there is something there. Westbrook drives, maybe Covington sits in the corner more. And I don't know. I have to watch more. And really, a lot of Harden ball is ISO at the top of the key, whereas Westbrook gets to the corners more, drives baseline, maybe collapse, and he's good at moving to the corners and stuff. So I don't know. I have to really look into that. But regardless, he's too cheap for a starting power forward. They need his height. They need his rebounding. So I do like him. Jeff Green, I have some interest in too. He's been playing in mid 30s, low 30s. I'm expecting low 30s to high 20s, but he's a good point per minute producer. Pretty good player. So I'm looking at him too. And then PJ Tucker is the last one I'll mention. No, he's not great, but center is not fun. You're going to get all the minutes in the world from him. They do need his rebounding. He gets some steals sometimes, hits down open threes. So if you need a salary saver, I do like PJ Tucker. And then going to the other side of the game, I do like Chris Paul. I agree he is a better play on FanDuel because of the position eligibility, with Dragic and Bledsoe is the only other ones. So not as much interest on DraftKings. And then Gallinari he's been very bad, but I'm going to buy into the long-term sample size, going to buy into his talents. He's got to start making shots. They're going to need him down 3-2 if they want to survive with a weak position. He's one of my favorite small forwards on the slate. And then Shy, I'm not the biggest fan of this guy, but he has steal upside. He has block upside. He's a long player. He's sneaky. When he gets aggressive, shooting guard is stacked though, and that's the one problem. So if he fits, he fits, but there's Middleton, there's Dort as a punt, there's Iguodala as a punt, there's Harden up top. He's just kind of falling down the list for me. And then the last guy, Schroeder, I'm not as interested in, but I think he's a great GPP play because he's not going to be owned. He's going to be the forgotten guy on this team. And Schroeder can blow up at comes off the bench, gets his usage. He can get hot. So I like that one. And the last guy I'm going to mention is Dort as a punt. He shot brutal last game out, 3 for 16. But, the opportunity was there, and I don't expect him to go 3 for 16 again. He makes a lot of lineups to work as a punt. So, and they need him for his defense. He's going to have to be out there defending Harden, defending Westbrook. So he is one of my favorite value plays down below too. As gross as it sounds, in the playoffs, I take a different procedure. I play for the floor, play for the safety. I want my guys out on the court, want minutes. So if he's on the court like he should be, I'm going to have interest at a very cheap price tag.
All right, that's a thorough breakdown. Either one of you guys have anything to add before we get to baseball?
That was as thorough as I could have got.
Let's go to baseball then. Before we do that, we got 50 likes, 50. We need another 75 before the show is over. We got 7 baseball games to go down, so we got some time there. But again, 75 more likes, and one of you is getting some absolutely delicious swag here from Run Pure Sports. We do have a question here in the chat real quick. Just one more thing on basketball then. Thoughts on Bazley? Either one of you guys? Anything Bazley wise?
I mean, he had a big game last time out, but it was mostly due to the blowout. I'm not going there. No.
Okay.
Nope.
Not going there, Steve. Don't worry about it, buddy. We're all done there. So let's move over to the baseball side. This is a fun slate. We just got a 7-game slate, and I like that. And here's the other interesting thing I saw about this. We have 6 of the 14 teams on this slate are projected for 5 runs or more. So we obviously have that Coors Field game with the Padres and the Rockies. You know, that one worked out and people will be all over that one. But we have 4 other teams then that have some nice implied totals. Not to the point to where you're going 6, but, you know, that's where it is. So let me get your full slate option or thoughts on this first, Hoop. Full slate for baseball. How are you handling Coors, and what are you doing to pivot away from it if you are?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously you have the Coors game. You always, want to look to it, and it has a nice big total for us. But like you said, there's other good spots, and we have some really good pitchers too. So it makes the slate pretty interesting. For cash games, I'm going to do my best to get 2 of these top pitchers in there if I can. It's going to take a few value plays, but I mean, I think we might get there. There's already, some popping up in these early lineups that we already have. So I think we should be able to get to the top for 2 of these pitchers in cash games. And that's going to be my priority on the slate because I really don't like many cheap guys at pitcher. I'm going to really try to get to, two of, Bieber, Cole, maybe even Glasnow. Matchup's not great, but Glasnow's been good. I really want to get to the top at pitcher. So, for me, I'm going to probably sacrifice some hitting today to get there.
Interesting. All right. What about you, Title?
Yeah, I'm the biggest Coors guy here. Love Coors, but I can't do it today. I'm with Hoop because I am prioritizing Bieber and Cole. It's just the safest spot. There's other good hitting spots that Coors just doesn't stand out completely. Like yesterday, the Padres just absolutely slid out with a 7.4 implied total. Made sure to get 4 of them on FanDuel, and they just absolutely smashed. They're not in a complete smash spot here. Marquez is serviceable. He's okay, solid. So it's not like a spot where you absolutely need it. And with Bieber, with Cole, with Giolito, who just pitched a no-hitter last game, I'm going to prioritize pitching as well. I'm going to rank them on FanDuel. I like Cole more than Bieber because of the price discount. The savings definitely go a long way. So it's a lot easier over there. And then, on DraftKings, it's pretty easy too because I just want to play both. I'm just going to jam them in, find value. Everyone has to make sure if you're playing MLB today, even after lock, there's been a lot of trades going on. Phones blowing up with lineup switching. New players are in and out. So just make sure you're watching all these trade news and lineups because it's definitely mixing it. Like Goodwin just got traded and he just got scratched from the lineup in the games. And it actually might be 10 minutes ago. But anyway, a lot of stuff's changing. A lot of lineups are changing. So you can't just put your phone down at lock like you normally think baseball's done with and just be done. So just wanted to make that point.
I think that's a great point. Then you got guys like Bobby Dalbec that are going to be in the lineup tonight. Who's Bobby Dalbec? This is a first baseman that came up with the Red Sox, completely punishes left-handed pitching. It's like now we're going to get a lot more of the minor leaguers coming up. The trade deadline is done and gone. And you better know, because you're going to get some salary relief, you better know 1 or 2 of these guys because you might have to throw them in there, especially if you're paying up for pitching tonight, right? Because you got Bieber, you got Cole. There's some other guys out there too that we're going to discuss in a second. But yeah, that's a good point, Title, because you better start digging in. It's a different game come September. And it's not going to be as different as it normally is because, normally you'll have 8 to 10 extra guys are going to try and there's more teams that are in the race. They're going to try and play more of the guys on the roster, but you will see some prospects coming up here over the next couple of days as well. So Weather issues. Somebody said there's weather issues. With the Beavers team.
I was just gonna bring up weather. I'm glad you said it. We do have to watch that game. I'm seeing that there's possible storms. Also seeing in Coors there might be some storms.
Fine here. You're fine.
Cool.
Don't worry about
there. Yeah. But okay, the big game. Yeah, Bieber gonna have to look at it. If they starting to delay though, I still have to look more into it. I usually don't look at weather this early because so much changes. But if they starting to delay, that's fine. We'll be in Discord. I'm always in there. JT's in there. Hoops in there. Just a bunch of us are in there giving updates. So make sure to be in there if you're not. And we'll be letting you guys know if Bieber's okay to play or not.
Okay, good. Yeah, again, I've been checking the weather here in Denver all day, and it's like they might have some little bit of rain. But the other thing is that it can rain here for an hour, and then it just stops, and everything gets dry super quickly. So that's at least me as we're here. How many? 4 hours before the game starts? 4-5 hours. But for now, I'm not worried about it. Just Cleveland, maybe. Hit the like button, guys. We're only at 50. We need 125 over the next 35 minutes or so. Or nobody's getting swag, and that makes me really, really sad.
189 Washington, too.
208 now. We're up to 208.
Oh, 208. I'm even behind. Yeah, we gotta hit that like button. That's not enough.
Come on, jabronis. Let's get this going. All right, Hoop. We know where you're looking here, and I wonder how popular it is because Big T and JSU work with them more and more and more. The big turn in the build is on DraftKings. Nobody pays up for pitching. Pay up for the two studs, and then go find a low-owned stack that nobody wants to play and then win a ton of money. But is it going to be kind of reversed tonight? Is this the build on DraftKings? Two high-priced pitchers? Not in cash. Is it really in cash and in tournaments?
I personally think it's the way to go. And there's going to be enough cheap, there's definitely going to be enough cheap hitters now that we see some of these lineups that are coming out. You look at even the Braves, which we'll talk about when we get there. They have a lot of cheap bats, and it's going to be easy to play these two top pitchers. Maybe going elsewhere is going to be a contrarian game theory approach type thing, but to me, I'm just not seeing it with any of these other pitchers. Like Cole and Bieber, just so damn good. And even if you want to pivot off, you have Giolito up there. You have even Glass now. He's priced down at 8.4 because of his matchup against the Yankees. He can still get there against the Yankees. So I'm really going to be focused on those four guys. And honestly, when I pick pitchers, I have a tight core, even in tournaments. I don't really go outside of 4 or 5 pitchers at the most. Those are going to be my guys tonight. You can make cases if you go down for maybe Rich Hill, but the upside's capped. He's not going to go deep into a game. I'm just not seeing much else I like at pitcher. It's going to be like those 4 guys. Fried is he's interesting because he's been pitching well. The problem is his price just isn't all that great at 9.2. I just prefer getting to all those other guys, but he's been good. You look at his fantasy production. He hasn't 14 is the lowest fantasy output that he's had. That's solid. So he appears to be safe, but I still think I prefer getting up to those top tier guys.
This is a tweet from my fellow Kansas Jayhawk. David O'Brien, he's with the Atlanta Braves, and this has really nothing to do with DFS. I just thought it's such a crazy stat. So Fried is 5-0 with a 1.35 ERA coming into tonight, and the rest of the Braves starters are 1-10 with a 7.23. What? That's absolutely what an abomination the rest of that rotation has been to this point. All right, what about you, Title, at the top? Is this the build tonight? Bieber, Cole, maybe mix somebody else in there?
Yeah, I can't make a case for anyone else. If you like Fried, as you mentioned, I think he's going to be like 5% owned or something ridiculous. So if you like that in tournaments, I can't hate you at all for that. But yeah, I really do think it's Bieber and Cole, and I think it's pretty much ends there. Giolito and Glass now are the only other ones I would add in. But I'm still going to keep it to probably those two just because I really just think they're upside. They're the best pitchers by far. I'm not worried. Hitters are in good spots. There's value out there. I just think it's the way to go today, so that's what I'll be doing.
Hoop, if I'm building one lineup on FanDuel, though, right? First of all, who is it? Is it Cole or Bieber? And then how big of a risk is it? How big of a hole am I putting myself in if I go Fried or Giolito as opposed to those two guys at the top?
To me, I'm going to be focusing on the top guys, like I said, and on FanDuel where you only play one pitcher and it's a $1,300 difference. I'm going to lean Cole, and he's probably going to be popular. So getting up to Bieber, could be somewhat contrarian. So I like that. These are my two favorite guys. One of them could potentially be lower owned because of the price tag. If you drop down, Giolito, lower owned, Fried's going to be lower owned, way lower owned compared to those guys. Most ownership is going to be on Garrett Cole. I think he's going to be very popular on FanDuel. So for me in tournaments, I'm going to try to get over the field on Bieber, which I don't think is going to be a crazy amount.
All right, Title. I mean, that's it, right? So we're just going to sit there. We're not going to go down the list, and we'll deal with it. We'll find the other. I just wonder, again, like if you're GPP tonight, if people get too uncomfortable with that build with the two starters at the top, or they're just trying to get fancy and mixing some other guys in, because, I mean, it's at least feasible. We could look at Giolito and say, okay, he could come back and have another monster performance tonight. But, like, is he the only one with that type of ceiling, or is there anybody with those guys' ceilings? Is that just so much better?
Yeah, I just don't like picking on Minnesota as much as the other matchups. And I'm like, ownership's going to be high for sure, but there's always people in DFS that pay the rake, I guess you can say, or just get way off the board and play crazy plays where I don't really worry about ownership as much. And GPPs, of course, you kind of have to, but GPP ownership is always lower. And I just think there's other spots that hitters that are going to be lower owned and 10% or something that hopefully they do well, and you just eat the chalk at pitcher. On FanDuel, I will mention they priced Hauser a lot better on FanDuel at $7K. The only reason, I mean, Pittsburgh, I like the matchup. Only reason you do that is just if you want a full stack Coors, because you can't with the top two pitchers. And I'm fine with that for GPPs on FanDuel. DraftKings did a lot better pricing them. I think he was at like 8,400 or something right around there. So I just can't pay $1,400 more. So FanDuel did okay there. I'm still not going to go there in a lot of lineups, but if you want a full stack Coors, that's how you do it.
All right, let's get to these offenses now. Like I said, you've got 6 of the 14 teams with implied totals of at least 5 runs or more. 2 of those teams are playing out in Colorado tonight with the Padres and the Rockies. So that still leaves 4 teams. And one of those teams, actually 2 of those teams, you got Washington, which is like right below a 5 implied total. And then you got Philadelphia, which is well over a 5 total. And the starting pitchers here, Spencer Howard going for Philadelphia, and then Eric Fetty starting for the Nationals and Hoop. So let's look at these 2 offenses. First of all, I think the Nationals tonight should be very, very popular. If people are fading Coors, I wouldn't be surprised if they looked right here at this game. You've got Soto, you got Turner. I mean, really the whole top of this order here for Washington could be in play tonight. And on the Philadelphia side, we see Rhys Hoskins starting to get there. Fetty has, we're seeing these pitchers, the same team over and over and over again. And, the Bats, Philadelphia took care of business here. They took care of business. It was nice. What's your breakdown of these 2 teams offensively?
Yeah, I mean, nice 10.5 run total. So you're definitely going to want to come here and check out some of the bats. And the Phillies, I think, will end up with much higher ownership than the Nationals.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think so. It's not hard. I guess on FanDuel specifically, the prices are pretty bad on the Phillies. They're just way too cheap. Typically the case on DK. They're priced up a little bit more, but it's still somewhat easy to work them in. I like both offenses. Like I said, the Nationals I think are somewhat under the radar. I mean, they don't have that team totals above 5. Like you said, it's hovering at 4.9 when we have, the Phillies, the Braves, Coors, Milwaukee, all with higher run totals than the Nationals. So I really like the Nationals in tournaments. Like you said, guys like Soto, Turner, Kendrick, I like, the lineup's not out yet. But the Phillies, strong offense here. Fetty, not a very good pitcher. Definitely have interest in both offenses.
At this point for Philadelphia, he's thrown 11 2/3 innings. He has given up 19 hits. He's got a 2.057 whip. And now, if you're really going to load up on the Nationals tonight, maybe you're hoping that this is a very small sample that we'll see play out, that he's just not ready for the majors yet. But when you look at the Nationals, do you prefer that side over Philadelphia, or is it the Phillies for you?
Yeah, no, I do prefer Philly. Think they're a little safer, but the Nationals just came out with their lineup, and it's going to help our value. Howie Kendrick batting 3rd, Drupal Cabrera batting 4th, Thames batting 5th, I think we're gonna find. Yeah, yep.
Kill him.
Yep, I was gonna get to that. I mean, I love Thames right there in the 5-hole. Just homered yesterday. Was hoping he was gonna make the lineup as I expected he would. Yeah, and lefties absolutely smash him. So Soto's one of my favorite tournament plays because I don't think he's gonna be owned because we're paying up for pitcher. So that's why I like paying up for the 2 pitchers because you can jam in Soto and then go value, and Soto's not gonna be that high owned. So that's the reason I like that. This Nationals lineup's really looking really good to me with the value. So I probably will have some of the national guys, but I do like Philly a little more if price didn't matter. Just absolutely had a great, what a hitting performance yesterday on Sunday Night Baseball with Atlanta and Philly. Hoping they carry some of that momentum in a 12-10 loss, but I like Didi Gregorius a lot. Haven't seen the lineup. Have any of you guys yet? Mm-mm. Is it out? Yeah, not out yet.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, but I do like the Philly guys. Didi's they're priced up a little bit. McCutchen I do like. He's still a little too cheap, so I'm going to look at him. But it's McCutchen and Didi are the main ones I'm looking at. You can do Hoskins, Harper, Real Muto, but I can't pay up everywhere today, so I'm not going to really be paying up for one of those guys.
All right, so let's get to this next game. It's a Garrett Cole game going up against the Tampa Bay Rays. Listen, the Rays, they got to him. They hit home runs off of him. Cole's kryptonite, I guess, is G-Man Choi, is what it's come down to at this point. The Rays very familiar with him. Cole's given up some solo shots. We also know that Cole strikes a ton of dudes out. So, Hoop, before we get to that Yankee side, specifically on the Rays side, are there any one-offs that you could recommend tonight? I mean, if you're a BVP guy, then you like G-Man Choi. Good luck with that. Anybody else in this roster?
This is a save time and move on game from
offense. Very good. No, hey, and make sure you know who Randy Azarena is because he's leading off tonight for the
2.5K. There you go.
Yeah, so good job. Good luck. Have a good time trying to hit Garrett Cole tonight, buddy. Good work out of you. So let's go to you then, Title. The Rays, probably nothing there. So start with the Yankees. Nothing the whole game?
Nothing the whole game. But if you ask for the one-off, as you mentioned, I've mentioned, JT, he like in his script, and he's been very, very good at baseball, does a script. He allows in his builds to have one player against your opposing pitcher because not every pitcher is going to let up no runs. You don't always expect that. A solo shot, you're automatically unique doing it. So I do like that. And the one guy I would do, G-Man Choi, I don't mind, but Brandon Lau has just absolutely been smashing the baseball, a great fly ball rate. I would not, in Yankee Stadium, I would not be surprised to see him hit one out for sure. So he would be my favorite one-off. No, that's not a cash play. It's to be unique doing that. So that's the one guy I would have interest. Otherwise, I got nothing.
All right. How about you, Yankees? Anything, Hoop?
No.
Okay. Good. This is great. At least you guys are honest with me. You don't bullshit through it. Tell me, guys, that you might want to play. All right, here's another team. Here's another team with a high total, guys. Going into Fenway Park, the Atlanta Braves. Their implied total is a little over 5.5, I guess, if you look at the line. And there's a couple guys in this lineup in particular that caught my eye earlier today. And it was, listen, it's always Freddie Freeman, right? But I think Marcell Ozuna is another guy that could be interesting from the Brave side as they're going up against Brewer. And again, anybody that the Red Sox throw out there at this point, it's bad. You know, Colton Brewer is probably going to get them 3 innings if they're lucky, and then they turn it over to one of the worst bullpens in Major League Baseball. So, Hoop, argue on the Braves tonight.
Yeah, it's my favorite offense outside of Coors. I mean, I like the Rockies, obviously, I think a little bit more, but outside of Coors is my favorite spot for a couple reasons. First, like you touched on, Red Sox bullpen sucks. The starter's he's not going very deep. They have a nice big run total here at 5.5. And then the last part that piques my interest is the lineup. And it's a lineup that you can basically play everyone. I mean, they have upside. And you have cheap guys in there, too. You got Austin Riley batting 5th. He's only 3.2K on DK. He's going to be popular. But that's fine. I mean, you can stack this team at the bottom. Duvall, Camargo, Tyler Flowers, all upside. So, to me, I am interested in playing this entire lineup. If you think the top's going to be popular, we always talk about it on here. go to the bottom. Won't be as popular, cheap, and you can still play those top pitchers. So really, probably my favorite. Like I said, I'll be Braves. I'll probably have the most exposure to on the slate.
Like, who's your number one play from the Braves tonight? Like, if you're locking in one guy, who is it? Ozuna?
Ozuna, that's not a very nice price tag on him, 4.1K. I would say, yeah, it's probably Ozuna. Yeah, you're right. Good call.
What do you think? What do you think about both teams here? And I'll get back to Hoop. Might not even be worth going back to you. Red Sox against Fried.
Man, Red Sox are a team that I've just given up on. I just cross them off unless I have to play them for the most part.
Mitch Moreland. No more Mitch Moreland either. All right, so you don't like the Red Sox either, Title, as I saw you shake your head. So give me the Braves rundown. Are you as high on the Braves as Hoop is?
Yeah, I am as high as them as Hoop is, and that's mainly just because of their lineup and the pricing. They're in a great spot, and Austin Riley, he's my favorite Brave, 3.2K. Just a great hitter too. I think he's going to be a star for a long time. Love the kid. Think he's going to be good. So he's a lock and load. Like Ozuna, Markakis is very cheap. The only one above 5K on DraftKings is Freddie Freeman at 5.3. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get up to him. He's obviously a great play, but this whole lineup is just so cheap. And as we always mention, or in tournaments on baseball, you can stack the bottom of some of these orders that are just going to be way cheaper. And I think Atlanta is one of the spots to do that just because their price tags are good enough. And people aren't going to play Camargo. People aren't going to play Inciarte. Flowers at catcher, I'm always fine. Filling it out last, usually just throwing a part of my stack. So I like Atlanta a lot. My favorites are Riley, Ozuna, and then Markakis batting fourth just because he is batting fourth. But do not leave out the bottom of the order if you're making multiple lineups because this bottom of the order can get going and have runners on base for them and absolutely produce. So I like this Braves team a lot.
Like the bottom of the order too a little bit. So here's the deal. Both of you guys are on the Braves though, and we know that Coors – we don't know anything really. We think that Coors will probably be highly owned, but how many people are going to go to the Braves then? Is this a low-owned stack, or is all the sharp guys like you guys going to start looking at them?
I don't think Coors.
Go ahead.
I don't think Coors is going to be as popular as we're used to seeing, just because of the pitching options and the lack of pitching options below. Curious to see what Hoop is going to say. Sorry, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think that the Braves will end up being relatively popular because of the price tags on these pitchers and everyone, or on the batters, and everyone wanting to get up at pitcher, which I assume will be the case. Just good value. Ozuna, Riley, those are guys that are going to be very popular because of the price tag, and it allows you to still spend up at pitcher. So I think they will come in with some ownership. But there's cheap guys in this next game that we'll talk about on the Brewers side, where that's why it makes it easy to pay up a pitcher, especially in cash games. There's a lot of guys under 4K in good lineup spots, in good lineups that are projected to score runs today.
All right, so let's do it, guys. But get off of Hoop's ass with the Camargo thing. Come on, guys. I get paid to come up with the right pronunciations. Okay, I'm the one. Just rail me if I screw up. Title doesn't know. Title can't pronounce his own name. Nobody in DFS needs to know their names, just their salary, kind of an idea of what they are, and just how to hit a lock button. That's it. It's all right, Hoopage. Don't worry about it. Don't let them be
slaughter. It's very evident at this point. I'll slaughter about 1 in every 4 names. So I should be good. Maybe make it through one more lineup. Good. But
all right. I didn't hit Camargo.
The worst is MMA. Because it's a lot of numbers and stuff too. But when I'm on a live stream podcast, I get some tweets once in a while. Like, how are you so good at MMA and can't even pronounce half the guys' names?
Dude, go watch the U.S. Open and tell me if you can pronounce any of the people that are playing tennis today. That's why we did
Djokovic,
tennis player, porn star. You can't tell. They're all Eastern European. You have no freaking clue.
Well, the guy clearly knew exactly who I was talking about, so it's not like I pronounced the name to the point where he didn't know who I was talking about.
Johnny Carmaggio. He's terrific. Wonderful. The best Italian ball player in the majors right now.
He's definitely hitting a dong tonight now.
Milwaukee hosted Pittsburgh. Again, this is one of the 6 out of 14 teams that has an implied total over 5 runs. This will be interesting against Pittsburgh. And it's Trevor Williams, who is the starter tonight. And, Trevor Williams coming off a couple of starts where it's just been really, really rough for him. I kind of feel like just listening to you guys talk that there are some certain bats in this lineup, specifically from the left side, at least is what I'm seeing. If I'm seeing, I'm thinking you're seeing it. Milwaukee bats from the left side. Title, you're just doing this. You're all about Milwaukee tonight. You're all about Yelich. You're all about Terry Cummings.
Top to bottom, I just don't think Trevor Williams is good. So I'm gonna have a lot of Brewers, pretty good pricing. And if I am running a Brewer stack, though, I'm not leaving Yelich out. I don't care what his price is. There's no way I'm doing that.
Okay, here, we're going to do a lesson. Maybe we'll start doing one lesson a day. Urias, not your Luis Urias.
I thought it was Urias. I'm a Brewers fan. That just shows how little.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to make you look smarter. Okay, no big deal.
Appreciate that.
Luis Urias.
Urias. All right.
Yeah, very good. You got it. Did you know that Jed Jerko's name is Jed Jerko, or did you think it was
Jed Jerko's been around forever, killing lefties. I knew that.
Totally botched that name when it came out. I bet you. What were you, like 8 years old, sitting there trying to get DFS? Jajiko, yeah. Let's play him for 3,800. Hoop.
Yep.
On your side, my friend, the Milwaukee Bats.
Yeah, just more value to make it easier to get the top pitchers that we want to target here. Gamble at 2.3K, like 2.3K batting fifth. The team's projected to score runs, should have some RBI opportunity. Smoke 3.4K. Then we get our cheap catcher to make it all work. Narvaez, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep,
right?
Yep, you're right.
Narvaez. Very good.
I think.
No, it's Omar Narvaez.
I redeemed myself from Carmaggio. So
I'm going to call him Carmaggio from here on out, by the way.
Perfect.
Best name ever.
Just flows better. They put that Geo at the end. It just makes it all come together.
Carmaggio. Come on, Carmaggio. Who else?
You get the 2.8K catcher and a good lineup here. So like I said, it's easy now to get those top pitchers in cash games and tournaments. Another team. Like I think you can get up to Yelich and play those pitchers with these cheap bats in this lineup. So very strong lineup, more cheap value to get to our cash game goal of paying up a pitcher.
Okay, very good. Are we good, Captain? Is everything going all right here? And getting, we're God and repeat that and everything. I don't know what's going on. Pittsburgh one-offs, anything? Yes or no?
Nothing. But I do want to mention, not the right sport. I just got a notification, Bledsoe game time decision. So maybe it is a little more dicey and up in the air than we think. So be in Discord if he's out. We'll let you know what to do. So just saw that and wanted to point that out.
Yeah. Don't let me forget to go back to the NBA just one more time at the end of this, because we did the NBA at the beginning. We're spending a lot of time on baseball. So, guys, we'll try and just a quick thought or two on the NBA before we go, but we're fading Pittsburgh tonight. Big shocker there. 3 more games to go. Cleveland at Kansas City. So Cleveland's offense starting to pick it up lately. They are going up against Brad Keller tonight. You tell me what you think of Brad Keller, what you think of this offense here. Keller was not very good at all in his last start, but the 3 previous to that, he had been okay. Do you just want to try again, or what would you like to do? Okay, should we just disconnect then and try again? Okay. I must say that for me to have been on here for 3 weeks and not have a technical difficulty is pretty good.
No, when Hoop was talking, you guys were frozen for a second, and it just kept lagging. I was like, please, I hope Hoop's talking. Yeah.
Okay. Some people it's live.
Some people can still see.
Some people it's live. Let's keep doing it. All right. We're live, but blurry. You don't need to see us. Just listen to us, guys. And maybe later.
Yeah. Cleveland bats against because I'm not interested in the Royals breaking there. Cleveland, I don't have as much interest, but a couple bats that do stick out. Lindor really sticks out to me. He's cheap on FanDuel at 3.4K, so he's definitely someone I'm looking at. Other parts of this lineup, I'm just not like the value we've already mentioned on Milwaukee and the Braves are really where I'm focusing most of my lineup. J-Ram's always in play, of course. I haven't seen the lineup yet. So if we have a value closer to the top, like a Domingo Santana, Seems a little too cheap as well at 2.4K if he's batting in the 6 hole or something. But other than Lindor on FanDuel, really too priced up on DraftKings at 5.2K. But it's just not an offense that's really standing out to me as much with other value options.
Who? Yeah, I think more FanDuel plays. Like I'll stack this team on FanDuel because it's easier to do so. On DK, it's just hard with these price tags. Assuming these guys are, in their normal lineup spots, it's going to be, and I can't even really say one-offs. Like I'm not going to one-off Jose Ramirez for 5.4K or Lindor for 5.2K on DK. Like I'm just not going to do that. Sticking with the strategy that, I've kind of talked about with getting up to those top pitchers. So won't have much exposure on DK, maybe a little bit on FanDuel, but yeah, that's about it.
All right, we all set on this game, guys? Right?
Sure.
White Sox Twins. So let's start with the Twins here. Again, their offense is not the same one we had last year. They were on pace for about 70 less runs for the full season if you extrapolated it and played a 162 from where they were last year. The home run numbers are down too. And tonight they're facing a really good pitcher in Lucas Giolito with that no-hitter. They're not going to be very popular at all. This actually is probably a game that a lot of people, in my estimation, are going to forget about, guys. I want to know your thoughts on that. And then if there is a guy or two from the Minnesota side that at least we can look at and consider. Hoop, anything there?
Yeah, I mean, definitely not on the Twins side. I mean, I know they have this powerful offense, and we talk about it most times where, hey, more times than not, you're going to want some Twins exposure. Not tonight. Giolito's been good coming off that no-hitter last time. So no Twins. On the White Sox side, it's another situation kind of like the last game. Like these guys are priced up. Like Tim Anderson's 5.7K, Jimenez 5K, Abreu 5.4K. The only guy I would consider, I think, would be Encarnacion at 3.8K. Maybe as a one-off, but I mean, I honestly probably won't do it. We have like 6 offenses that are in really good spots.
You're off. Okay.
Yes.
Anything from this whole game? Whole game.
The only thing that I would really, I mean, E5 you can look at, as Hoop mentioned, it's a good price at 3.8, and then Adam Engel's min price at 2K. In baseball, that's a sport where I'm okay taking a 0. It's not, he might not even be a 0, but if he did get a 0 on a slate like today, if it got me up from a 4 point or like a Max Kepler to a Christian Yelich or just something like that, I'm okay doing that. So mid-price 2K, if you need Adam Engel, fine. That's the only other guy that sticks out. Otherwise, it's just not a game I'm looking at.
Pretty interesting here. I just started looking at the Padres and the Rockies again. And, you're not going Bieber Cole if you're trying to get these guys. So let's start with you, Title, on this. This is what I need. This is the game theory thing. Again, like, how do you handle Coors tonight? I'm going to make 5 lineups. This to me is I'm actually really excited about this slate. There's about 4 offenses I can play tonight. So if I'm making 5 lineups tonight, I got to have one stacking this game, right? And if I do that, where am I looking?
Yeah, so if you're going to stack, we'll start with the Colorado side. Tapia is the one that stands out the most. I'm expecting him to bat leadoff, 3.8K on DraftKings, I think 3.1K on FanDuel. He's the one that just makes it work in cash games, even if you do go up. So I'm looking there. Daniel Murphy, 3.8K too, if he cracks the lineup against the righty. I like him a lot. But other than that, I just can't, like, 5.8K for Story, 5.6K for Arenado, 5.8K for Blackman. Those are the hitters you do want if you're stacking it. And I just can't fit them. So if you're playing 5 lineups, the only way I'm stacking Coors pretty much today is if you're playing on FanDuel because of Hauser. I think he's okay and he's viable. So I honestly, as little as I say it, I will not be full stacking Coors today.
And that's like, you are the Coors guy. Like,
and everyone, I mean, I'm the biggest Coors guy. I love Coors, hard not to, but it's just not pitching over Coors today. That's just how it works.
You are married to Coors and you're cheating on her with some ugly pitchers, dude. This is nasty. I don't know.
I hope it works out.
All right, what about you, Hoop? How are we handling this here? How? All right, if you put in 5 lineups, would you have a Coors stack? Or is it wasted?
It depends on the lineup. I mean, I got to see if Tapia's in there at 3.8K, Murphy's in there at 3.8K, even Matt Kemp is 3K. Like, if I can get a couple cheap guys and make a stack work, I'm going to do it because I don't want to waver from my initial, position of getting two strong pitchers. Now, this might be, if I do stack this team, maybe I have to go down to Glass now, who I talked about as being like the cheapest guy I want to go with. Glass now and Cole, and then maybe it works. Just got to see this lineup. I will definitely be trying. If I'm building 5 lineups, I'll definitely be trying to get the Rockies in. I don't see how it's possible to work in the Padres. You'd have to punt one of your pitcher spots most likely, and I just don't feel comfortable doing that on this slate. So Rockies, yes. Padres, probably not.
All right, guys, let's do it. Stack time. Title, top 3 stacks.
Yeah, I'm going to go top 3 stacks, and none are going to be Coors because I'm going based on your pricing. So I'm going to start with the Phillies are my favorite. The lineup just came out, actually. I can't say Phillies my favorite because it's nothing, no value really up top. Other than that, they would be DD would be. Other than that, Braves for sure, then the Brewers, and then the Nationals.
Braves, Brewers, Nationals. Okay, what about you, Hoop? Are the Braves number 1?
Braves are my number 1, and then probably the Brewers just because I need these cheap bats. Like, I have to play these cheap bats to get my expensive pitchers in. And then I'm going to say Coors. I think we can work in a Coors stack with some of these cheap offense. We have a lot of cheap plays in that Brewers lineup. We have a lot of cheap plays in those Braves. Maybe it's a situation where I stack the bottom of the Braves order with the Rockies. So I'm going to say Braves, Brewers, and then Rockies because I think I can probably make it work, assuming that lineup cooperates.
All right, really good. Let's do some home run calls. I actually got 2 of them today. Usually I do 1. Bobby Dalbec. Remember I talked to you about Bobby Dalbec?
Didn't he homer yesterday?
All he does is smash left-handers. That's all he does, at least in the minor leagues. And he's up today, so I'm going to go with Boston first baseman Bobby Dalbec. And my other guy I'm going to go with is Omar Narvaez. Love it. Love the matchup for the big hitting catcher. This dude does not get enough credit for the power that he has, so – those are my 2 guys. You guys have to come up with 3. Hoop.
Should come to no surprise to anyone, but my boy Camargio is hitting a bomb today, boys. Lock him in. Lock Camargio in.
Love it.
He is definitely hitting a bomb. Justin Smoke. And then my last one is going to be Didi Gregorius. I like him to hit one
little
today.
Didi, I like it. Oh, breaking baseball news. Ross Stripling going to the Blue Jays. He was not good with the Dodgers toward the end. He's getting a ton of home runs this year. That's interesting. Title. Home run.
Christian Yelich up top. Brandon Lau as a 1% owned against my guy Garrett Cole. And then Austin Riley. I like Austin Riley a lot today.
Do you know how tough it is to get the Brandon Lau name right? People call him Lowy and Lau.
Yeah, I mean, I mess up the easy names, sometimes get the hard ones. It's hard. I mean, you watch a lot of sports and do all that, but I'm not studying everyone's name. Too much other stuff to be looking into. So Brandon Lau got that one right. Hopefully you homers for me.
All right, guys, real quick. 2 things real quick before we get out of here. Where are we on likes right now? We at 109. So you get 6 more and we're going to do it. Okay, 6 more likes before we get done with this quick NBA recap and we're done. So we covered the NBA at the start of the show. I do want to just circle back around if you're just joining us, you missed any, that we do have a little bit of news on Bledsoe, right? What is he, questionable with the hamstring?
Yeah, they said game time decision. Which is, it's more serious maybe than I thought. I have no clue. Just something that we're really going to have to keep an eye on.
How do you handle it? How are you handling that? Like,
I'm still, it's the first game, so we'll get news. So just gonna wait for that. More value is gonna open up with DiVincenzo. I mean, Wesley Matthews, as gross as it is, I probably won't play him, but DraftKings he's free. So if you need it, you need it. Giannis is already a lock for me, so nothing would change there. Middleton would get a big boost, but it would mainly be Middleton and DiVincenzo that I would really look at more.
I think honestly, you take the news as almost like a downgrade because at least I am in my head because I kind of thought he'd be playing, but obviously it's more serious if they're gonna make it a game time decision call and have to see him warm up. It's already a guy that they typically limit even in the playoffs. Like they don't stretch his minutes out for the most part. So For me, it's a downgrade. I think he's probably, I mean, regardless of whether or not he plays or not, probably unplayable for me on the slate.
All right. Good stuff, guys. We're done. I want to remind everybody that get in the Discord. We hit 115, so good job. You just did it. You just did it. You got in there. To tell you the truth, I was going to give one of you something anyways because we had a little stream issue. No big deal. Let me just go through here. We're going to go, who do we got? What is this? My eyes are so bad now. Costa 26. Hey, and this guy actually says, I hope I win my shirt today. Costa 26. We're still there.
Better go buy a lottery. Buy a lottery ticket too.
Yeah,
that's a good day.
Play a ton of DFS tonight, man. You might win. It's your lucky day. Hit up Big T on Twitter or email us at info@runpuresports.com. For Captain back in the studio, where is Captain? Hoop, is Captain your guy? Did you bring him over? Is that who it is? Who's Captain?
No, he was with your DFS playbook.
Yeah, who is this guy?
Huh?
Who's this guy?
Just a great producer who's a big time Dodgers fan. So I'm curious to hear what he says about Stripling after this.
Shit talking too. I like him. Thanks, Captain. Appreciate it for Hoop, and congratulations again for not only winning $100,000 but partying with Johnny Manziel while you're doing it. And for Titletown,
go Bucks.
Yeah. What's going to happen when they lose tonight?
I mean, it's a win or lose. I'm not going to get worried after one game. I mean, the series is long, but I just can't wait till they get to the finals, and Big T might not be happy. Travis.
That's good to hear. All right, Title Hoop, it's great working with you guys. Everybody, thanks a lot for watching. We do appreciate it. Get in the Discord if you got questions, especially with this NBA slate. We're waiting on news from Bledsoe. There's a lot of young players in Major League Baseball that are just coming off their taxi squad now. They're going to make some debuts. So get in the Discord, ask the guys the questions, and they'll take care of you. We'll catch you later and probably tomorrow.